to another tutorial. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a orange cut crease on my beautiful client, and we're just gonna jump right in. I'm starting off by filling in her brows using the micro brow pencil from NYX in the shade black. Yeah, it was in the shade black, and I'm just gonna start off by just filling in her brows really lightly. I start off with the bottom and work my way up. So I just drew a line across the bottom of her brow, making sure to use a heavier hand more towards the end of the brow and a lighter hand as I get closer to the front of the brow. And I'm making sure that I brush the product through so that way it's not as heavy, and that also distributes, I'm so sorry, that's a difficult word for me, distributes the product around a lot more. I drew the bottom of, I drew a line at the bottom of her brow, and I literally just brushed that up so it can fill in that brow and give her the ombre effect without having to apply too much product to the front of her brow, because I hate a heavy boxy brow. I know we all do. And now I'm just going in with some concealer. I'm using my Morphe M421 brush, and I'm using a lighter concealer only because I use this as my shadow base, and I like my shadows to pop and be a lot more pigmented, so I use a lighter color so that way they can have something to, you know, really grab onto and be able to show their true color. So I'm making sure I'm going really slow. As you can see, I'm going with slow strokes. I start off with the front of the brow, then move on to the middle, and then drag it down for the tail of the brow. Now I'm just going in with a darker concealer. This is just a concealer that's a lot closer to her skin tone to clean up the top of the brow. Ladies, do not use the same concealer that you use to highlight the underneath of your brow to conceal the top of your brow. That looks a mess. I'm sorry, but it looks a mess. You want to get a concealer that's the closest to your foundation shade or your natural skin tone. So just get something that blends into your skin really nice, and it's just gonna look a lot better. It's really hard for me to do this side of the brow. I really struggle, but I make sure I just, go really slow. As you can see, I'm taking my time. I do not want to rush it because brows are important. Everybody looks at your brows. I think brows are something that are the main reason why a lot of people get their makeup done, because they want that, nice brow. So now I'm just going in with a concealer buffer brush, and this is the Morphe M173. It's kind of like a small foundation brush, so it's literally a concealer brush, and I'm just making sure I'm blending that product out so that way there's no harsh lines when I apply the foundation later on. Now I'm just going in with a flat concealer brush. I don't know the name of this. It probably is a flat concealer brush. It's from Wet n Wild. I got this at the Dollar Tree. You can get it pretty much anywhere, Walmart, Walgreens. It's a really good brush to just apply concealer onto your eyelids or just foundation all over the face. I really like this brush to apply that, or to apply any type of liquid products to the face. And with this, I'm just applying it all over her lids. It's the same concealer I use to clean up the bottom of her brow so everything blends together. And this is also just going to help me later on, again, like I said, with the eyeshadow to make them pop a lot more. I'm just making sure I really pat this into her skin and make sure it's a smooth, clean canvas. You always have to make sure your work is blended out, smoothed out. So I'm going back in with a beauty blender. I'm saying going back in like you guys seen it. I'm going in with a beauty blender. This is the e.l.f. sponge. I love this sponge. Like, when I tell you I love it over any other sponge that I bought the beauty blender. I bought the Real Techniques one, the Morphe one, the Tarte one. Like, somehow this one has really won me over. And I'm just making sure I just go back in with that same concealer buffing brush and just blending out all the lines so everything is really seamless. Now that we're getting into the eyeshadow look, I'm just going to take the Warrior 2 palette from Juvia's Place, and I'm just going to take that middle shade. It's like an orangey shade in the color Zama, I believe that's what it's called. And I'm using that on a Makeup Shack T50 to blend that in her outer corner. As you can see, I'm just putting it on the outer portion of her eyes and really packing that color on before I really blend it out and distribute it. You can't really see what I was doing, but what I'm just doing is packing the color on and then wiping some of the product that I have on the brush off and blending it out in circular motions. I'm really not applying it to the front of her eye, more into her inner corner, because I really want this color to pop on her outer corner. So I'm just packing it on and then buffing it out in circular motions, as you can see. And this just really makes sure that the pigment of the shadow is in one place, her outer corner. And I just really want that outer corner to be really defined and blown out. So I really just take my time doing that, going back and forth, making sure to pat the product in, blow it out, pack it in, blow it out, and just doing that same step until I get it to how I want it to look. Now I'm going in with the James Charles palette from Morphe, and I'm just going in with that bright orange, it's the fourth color on the top row, and I'm just using that on a Morphe M514 brush. It's a smaller buffing brush, so it really, gets in the area that you want it to without spreading the product out too much. And I'm using this orange to place it in her inner corner, like her inner crease area, closer to the inner corner of her eye. And I'm also using that same orange shade to blend out the darker orange that we put on the outer crease a little bit more, just so that way everything blends together and it's really seamless. And I'm just going back in with the T50 brush from Makeup Shack and the same orange color to blend it out. And now I'm just going in with it's one of the bigger colors in the James Charles palette. It's the second to last one, and the third to last one, I'm sorry. And I'm just using that deeper orange to just define the crease a little bit more, add some dimension into the eye look. And I'm using a Morphe M518 brush to do so. And you can see I'm just blending it out. And now I'm just going in with some white concealer. This is the concealer from ColourPop. I'm just having my client open her eyes so I know where her crease starts and where I can draw my line. Because if your client has smaller eyes and you really want to open up their eyes, you have to do a faux cut crease. Basically, you have to, draw the line a lot higher than her natural crease line. So that's what I'm doing here, and I'm using that same concealer brush that I used to apply the base for the eyeshadow with. I'm just making sure I take my time using small strokes, just creating that perfect cut crease. Once both creases are cut, I'm taking a BH Cosmetics V5 brush, and I'm just using that to tap the concealer in and also take off any excess concealer that's up there. And now I'm just going back in with that darker shade once again and just buffing out the concealer edge so that way everything is seamless. I don't know what I was talking about. I'm over here spazzing. But now I'm just taking this brush that I found at Rite Aid's. It was actually the Rite Aid brand brush. I didn't even know that they really sold brushes like that. But it's just a flat eyeshadow brush. It's a little bit fluffy, so it's not as flat. And I'm just going to use that to apply the white from the James Charles palette. When applying a matte shade onto the eye, you want to make sure that you pat the product in. You're not swiping it across like you would do with like a shimmer or something. Only because the matte shade is going to kind of mix in with the concealer and it's going to turn into a really nasty consistency. And you don't want that. You really want the color to just stick to the concealer and really show. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just really patting it in, making sure I'm getting as close to the line as possible. It's really hard to do so, like to cover every single part of the crease that we made, but just try your best, take your time. As you can see, I really take my time with that. Now I'm going in with the first orange that we used in the same T50 brush from the Makeup Shack, and I'm just using that to further blend out that crease, well, the end of the crease. And you can see that that's where like the ombre color, like the ombre look, the ombre look comes in, because we're literally just ombreing it out, and it just, I don't know, just gives it that ombre effect. Now I'm just going back in with that darker orange just to define the outer corner a lot more. Makeup is really just going back in, perfecting your work, not rushing, taking your time, making sure everything is blended. You're not going to get a good outcome if you don't really take your time and make sure that your work is how you want it to be. Rushing it is not going to do anything for you. Now I'm just going I'm going in again with the lighter orange that I use in her inner crease to further blend that outer corner out and give it more of that ombre effect. I really just like to go back and forth with colors, make sure every color is shown so that way, you know, you can see what I'm actually doing with my work and everything is not just blended into one color. That's why I really like to go with different shades of orange or different shades of, you know, just different colors of whatever my look is. I really like to take my time and make sure that every color pops. Now I'm just taking a pigment from NYX. This is the like gold champagne-y silver one. And I'm just using this to add a pop of sparkle into the look. It doesn't really do much, but literally add a pop of sparkle. You can only really see it if there's like a low light and a flash on. Like when I take my low light videos, you can really see it. But you know, just to add a little something to the look. I'm making sure I'm just patting this product in, and now I'm just going in with a makeup wipe. I'm making sure I'm really gentle around the eye area because, you know, this is a very thin piece of skin. You want to be very gentle. Make sure you're not rough with your client. And now I'm just going in with my NYX liquid eyeliner. This was a challenge for me. Best believe I did not get this eyeliner on the first try. Like I literally tested it out on so many clients because I really wanted to perfect my eyeliner and perfect my wings. So if you guys want a tutorial on how I do my wing eyeliner, just let me know in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to do it for you guys because it was hard. It was really hard. Trust and believe me when I say wings were difficult. Now I'm just going in with some concealer. This is the same concealer that I used to clean up the top of her brow. And I'm using that same flat concealer brush to really get that precise line and really wing that wing out. Because, you know, you can't have no curvy looking wing. You want to make sure that it's sharp and pointy and has that good angle. We don't want no curly guala looking wing. Like, no, we don't like that. So I'm literally just waiting for this eyeliner to dry on this side because it was just still wet. And I hate trying to clean up wet eyeliner because then the concealer mixes in with the eyeliner and it's just a mess. So I'm really getting as close to her eye as possible, making sure to drag it down. And then I'm just dragging that product out as you can see here. When I say I go crazy with the blending, I go crazy. Like, I hate just having a messy base. If you have a messy base or just an unblended base, nothing is going to lay nicely on top of it. So I really take my time, make sure everything is blended out. And I'm just using the same buffing concealer brush that I used earlier. And now I'm just going in with some CeraVe lotion, moisturizer. I'm just making sure to apply this all over her skin. I really like this moisturizer because it's very moisturizing. It leaves the skin really supple and dewy, and that's what I like, especially for people who have really dry skin. If you guys know any moisturizers, because I'm always open to try different things out, let me know. I really like to use stuff that is sensitive for skin because I work with so many different skin types. So if you know any, let me know. And now I'm just going in with the e.l.f. hydrating drops because she does have dry skin. So I'm making sure that I just want to really moisturize and get the skin prepped before I go in with any makeup. And I'm just using that to apply all over her face, making sure I really blend it out. Now I'm going in with my favorite primer of all time. This is the e.l.f. Poreless Primer. I love this primer because it lays on top of any other moisturizer primer so well. It smooths the skin out so well. It fills in the pores. If you have any texture anywhere, this primer will literally smooth it out, and it's so cheap. I believe it's like $8 or $6. It's around there. I'm not exactly sure. But now I'm just going in with some foundation. This is the Maybelline Superstay Foundation. I mixed 2 colors to get her foundation shade. And when I tell you I'm bomb with the shade matching, like that was my first try. And do you see how perfect that was? Like That was a perfect color. So now I'm just going in with my Instapop cheek brush, and this is my favorite brush. It's from Real Techniques, and you guys have to get this brush, but make sure it says Instapop. There's two of them. There's the Instapop foundation, and then there's an Instapop blush or something. It's two of the Instapop ones. You want to make sure you cop both of them because they're bomb. I'm just using this one because my other one was dirty. The other one is a lot bigger, but I like to use this one for concealer and foundation. It's just a great brush to just blend that product out. And my tip for getting that flawless full coverage foundation look is to tap the product in. You never want to swipe because that just moves the product around. When you're patting it in, you're literally pushing the foundation into her skin, making sure that it's really melted into her skin. And that's why I like to use a lot of moisturizers and go literally right in after I apply the moisturizers with my foundation, only because I want everything to just seep into her skin. I'm now going in with some concealer. This is the LA Girl concealer mixed in with the ColourPop concealer. I just realized that they changed the whole ColourPop formula and all like the colors and everything. So the ColourPop concealers that I am using, they no longer carry. I'm so sorry about that, guys. I don't know why they would do that. Like, I love those those concealers. But do you guys see my hand? Like, the hand of a makeup artist, like, that looks disgusting. Like, and it sometimes stains, believe it or not. But I'm just making sure I'm going really thin around the nose, down, excuse me, oh my god, down the nose. And I'm just applying concealer where I usually apply concealer. So that's under the eyes, on the chin, down the nose, on the forehead, and a little bit under where I would contour, just so that way I'm reverse contouring. So it kind of already gives you that sunken in look. As you can see here, like, it looks like I contoured and I didn't even do anything. And I'm just using that same brush that I used to apply the foundation to blend that out. I use this brush to blend out everywhere that I really want it to be really blended out. So that would be under the contour area, her forehead, and her chin, and also where the concealer ends and meets with the foundation. I really like to blend that out with the brush. But I'm just going back in with that e.l.f. sponge, making sure to further blend everything out, make sure everything is smooth and clean and just really flawless. This is where I meant when I said the concealer meets the foundation. I really want to blend this part out only because there's a lot of foundation still left on the brush and I don't want it to be of a harsh line there. So I'm just using this brush to just blend that out. And I'm now going in with another brush from Real Techniques. I forget the name of this brush, but I'm just using that to blend and pat in the concealer under her eyes, and then just going back in with the beauty blender to really distribute that product out, make sure everything is blended. I go back and forth with a brush and a beauty blender, as you can see. Like, that's just how I like to work. A lot of people just use one or the other. I use both. Sometimes I use one, sometimes I use both. It just depends on my mood. I'm just really making sure that everything is just blended out, making sure I'm using all sides of the beauty blender just to make sure everything is smoothed out. Now I'm just baking the sides of her nose with some loose setting powder. I already set all of her face and already contoured. I'm going to be doing a separate video on that, so that's why I left that part out. But I'm just using some setting powder to really clean up her nose, make sure she got that sharp contoured nose. Then I'm just going in with that same orange shade and really diffusing that product out. Actually, I think I used the red shade. I don't really remember. It just literally, oh yeah, I'm using the red shade. I'm just using that to pat under her eye. I'm not swiping it because I really want that product to just pack on under her eye. Now I'm just going in with some mascara. This is the Benefit Bad Gal Bang mascara, my favorite mascara ever. I'm just using that to cover her lashes, make sure that they're all coated and black and not looking white from all the powder and concealer that we use. I'm just really getting as close to the lash line as possible. Now I'm just going in with some brow gel. This is the Nyx Clear Brow Gel, and I'm just using this to make sure that her brow hairs stay in place. I am now going in with some lashes. These are her lashes, believe it or not. She sells them. Her lash company is Luxurious Skye. These are in the style Prada Bay if you want to cop you some. I also made sure I applied the glue about a minute or two before I actually applied them to her eye, just so that way the glue is dried down and really tacky. You want to make sure that your glue is literally almost dried down, so that way it's not slipping and sliding when you apply it to your eye, because that's what happens when you apply a lash with wet glue. Now I'm just going in with some NYX eyeliner again, just making sure I blend that lash band into her eye. I hate when I just see lashes, like you can see where the lashes are on the eye. I just don't like that. So now I'm just going back in with that Instapot brush, and I use this to melt the powder into her skin, since it has like a really such a small amount of foundation left on it, so it's really just gonna melt the powder into her skin. I'm also gonna go over her nose contour just to really blend it in, make sure that's all patted into her skin. I'm now just going in with the Morphe continuous setting mist, make sure her face is melted and set. I'm now going in with my famous lip liner. This is in the color Cold Brew from NYX. I love this pencil. Like, when I tell, wait, is that Cold Brew? No, I am wrong. What am I talking about? That is Chestnut from MAC. I don't know what I'm talking about, but if I'm not using Chestnut, I'm using Cold Brew. But in this case, I'm just using Chestnut, and I'm just outlining her eye, well, her eyes. What am I talking about? I'm outlining the outer portions of her lip, making sure I blend it in, because I'm going to do my nude ombre lip that I always do. It's just my signature lip. So yeah, you guys just going to see that. Now I'm just going in with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Matte Liquid Lipstick in the shade Naked, and I'm just using a small concealer brush just to apply this to the center of her lip only. I really just make sure I focus it on the center of the lip to give it that ombre nude lip. I never want to drag it down all the way to the sides unless I'm just patting it in to blend it out. As you can see here, I'm literally patting it in. I don't like to swipe because I just feel like it doesn't get spread out evenly that way. So I just make sure I'm tapping it in. Now I'm just taking some clear gloss and I'm just applying it onto her lips. I use the end of a brush. I got that from MUA Nessa, and believe it or not, that actually helps to apply gloss. It just makes sure that it lays on top of the lip that you already applied without moving any other product. Now I'm just going back in with some foundation and using the same concealer brush I used to clean out her brows, just to clean up any mess that I made. Again, going in with some setting mist, and now I'm using the highlighter from Fenty Beauty. This is in the shade Hustler Baby, I believe. You know, it's like the duo compact one. And this is my go-to highlighter shade for people who have a medium to dark skin tone. Like, it's bomb. Just applying it in all the areas I like to highlight. And look how bomb she looks, guys. Like, look at that lip. Like, this just was a whole vibe. I'm now just going in with a more defined pencil brush, and I'm just using this brush to apply the highlighter in all the small areas. So that would be the bridge of her nose, the tip of her nose, under her eye, well, not under her eyes, but her inner corner. And then I'm just now going in with that shimmer pigment again, just to bring it back, because it kind of got lost throughout the whole process of doing her makeup. So I just wanted to really bring it back, make sure that it shows when I take pictures and videos. And that's it, you guys. This is the final look. I hope you guys like this video. I hope you guys like the style of this video. Best believe I'll be back with more. So make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.